Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Geek King Pause. Today, I wanted to talk about Invincible, because Invincible Season 3 is once again proven to everyone that animated shows deserve just as high as praise as any other piece of work. Its complex storytelling and stacked cast has once again graced our screens and brought with it big dilemma and new drama. And the biggest dilemma of Season 3 so far being like Episode 2, Episode 3, Mark and Cecil's falling out. Cecil's a very much the type of guy who's a big picture, realistic, down to earth government worker who's willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means breaking a few morals, crossing a few lines. And Mark is different. He's young, he's very optimistic in the world, and he's very hopeful that he can always do the right thing no matter what. And even if those small acts are always right, then it will always lead to a good outcome, which is exactly where they start to clash. Once again, Cecil, being the government worker, he has this idea that he can manipulate any situation and control it through force or manipulation or otherwise, which is why Mark scares him because he can't control Mark. Mark has this mindset that dark deeds done by dark people aren't redeemable, and we're given two examples this season with D.A. Sinclair and Nightwing, the sequel. I find it ironic that these are the two that we see because this just shows the audience how far gone that these two characters are stuck in their belief. Because it shows how far Cecil will go to the dark side, but it also shows how set that Mark is in not giving people another chance. D.A. Sinclair is a brilliant mind, sure, but he is sick and twisted. Did horrible things to some innocent college students, absolutely messed them up. And yet, Cecil manipulates him, turns him onto his side, and starts using it for his own gain. So this shows how far Cecil will go to the dark side and try to play it for his own gain. But in the other case, Nightwing, who is formerly Nightboy. Before you comment, I know it's Darkwing. If you can't tell, it was really early yesterday morning. School had gotten canceled. I've been wanting to film this for a while. I had the script written up for a couple days, but I had just woken up and I was scared that if I didn't do it then, I was just going to forget it amongst all my other homework. So I filmed it, got all my homework done. I was tired, but it got done and it's out now. And I'm correcting my mistakes as I'm editing. I apologize. Was simply a sick, mentally ill crime fighter. And Mark won't even give him a second chance. This is someone who is trying to do better. This is someone who, from my understanding, between his powers and being stuck in Midnight City, really just lost it. And that's fair. The crime that he probably did, imagining this as a Gotham parallel, the crime that he had to deal with, especially after losing his one mentor, he's gonna go a little crazy. And he lost his morals, but he was still fighting the good fight. And now Cecil has rehabilitated him, and he's seems to be doing better. And Mark is still not giving him another chance. Now, I get it. There's quite a bit of nuance with it. There's like a lot of deep meaning to it. There's a lot of morals, like when it comes to killing bad guys, and there's a lot of thought there. Um, but nonetheless, I just find it cool because this shows that unstoppable force, immovable objects. It's such an interesting, complex level of story writing that is why I love this show so much. These kind of complex writings, it's why the story is so interesting. From Omni Man being a 500-year-old man who loses touch with humanity, with why life is special. Also, let me just say, because I'm editing this after episode 4 just dropped, but the script was written before episode 4 dropped, that they did it again in episode 4. The same thing, too, with Immortal living so long, losing so many loved ones, he started to lose the value of life. And you really start to see that struggle of morals of how far would you go for the right thing? What is the right thing? He wanted to die. Is that the right thing to do if that's what he really wants? Is it the right thing to do to kill him if he's caused so much pain? Even if he was once a good guy. This is such a compelling story over and over again that questions your morals and the character's morals, and I love it. And some future future events that will be happening that I will go into towards the end of the video because I want to keep the comic spoilers till the end. The show has a great way of taking events and asking us how far we're willing to push our morals for the right cause. Whether it's a guy who can turn to stone who takes over an illegal operation to better his city, or a robot breaking out two genius mad scientists to build himself a better body, it loves asking us where our morals stand and what's okay for what we want to get done. From here on out, I am going to start to touch up into comics, and the show has been adapting the comics beautifully. So, show spoilers ahead, but primarily comic book spoilers ahead. This is the part that inspired me to make this video because later on in the comics, Robot does something pretty big, and it makes a lot of readers upset when it happens. But it also keeps in themes with the question of where do your morals lie for something good to happen? If the outcome is good, but the steps you take to get there is bad, then is it still okay? Robot, big spoiler warning again, takes over the world. All right, listen, I gave you multiple warnings. If you're upset about a spoiler, like just leave, just go. That's the main spoiler, but just go. Under his rule, he makes a near perfect civilization, though, with low crime, low hunger, and better housing. And while he is a dictatorship and does some awful things to get to that point by, like, killing Cecil, taking over the government, it is beneficially a better world. To be very clear, Mark agrees at some point that while he hates what Robot has done, it is a much better world, and he just can't stand to live on it because if he tries to take over because of how awful Robot was, then he's probably dooming the world. But Robot's been an awful person, so he leaves. And I'm very excited to see how the show will tackle this because it is such a cool question of morals. Who is in the right? What is a good standpoint for morals at that point? And it's such an interesting idea that this show tackles so many times. I'm very excited to see the time travel arc. I'm very because that's another one where there's a lot of morals tied in. Like, what would you do for the right situation? Um, and a lot of people were pretty pissed at Mark for that one. There's so much about it that really is truly interesting about morals, about what influences you and everything. Anyways, what are you guys most excited for in Invincible? I hope they don't change the art styles as often as the comics did because that was a little odd for me. But in all seriousness, Invincible is one of my favorite superhero shows. In the long run, seems they make some weird choices, and he's going to be making some infuriating ones now that he's got his stupid blue suit. I actually love the suit. It looks so cool, but I hate it so much. I hate what it symbolizes. At the end of the day, Mark is such an inspirational character because at the end of the day, he really just wants to do the right thing. So, with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope you guys enjoy Invincible. Goodbye.